Darkness falls across the land. Creatures crawl in search of blood.
Nobody knocks off an old man in my neighborhood.
Hello there, welcome to my review of Eerie, Indiana, episode 15. No Brain, No Pain. Perhaps the show's most overtly political episode, as it takes direct, if not gentle, swipes at American politics of the early 90s. The Tellers and Simon are leaving a Chinese restaurant when Mr. Teller is knocked over by the town homeless man, Charles Furnell, played by Paul Sands, who keeps repeating the name Sharona, and who everyone in town thinks is crazy. Simon has heard he's an axe murderer, whereas Mr. Teller has heard that he's Eerie's last living liberal. Marshall and Simon follow him only to see him attacked by the mysterious Eunice Danforth, played by Anita Morris, who shoots Furnell with some sort of stun gun. She's scared off by a police siren, and the boys decide to help him. They clean him up while Danforth looks for him, which Dash exploits for his own personal financial gain.
You'll have to excuse me. I have a very poor short-term memory.
This refresh your memory?
The boys check Furnell's shopping cart while Cindy babysits him. They find an 8-track of The Knack, which contains the song My Sharona. For any younger viewers, an 8-track was a cassette which played music on a continuous 45-minute loop, popular from the 60s to the 80s. For any even younger viewers, a cassette was like a CD, but the music was recorded on a thin magnetic strip that could be fast-forwarded or rewound, but you couldn't skip straight to the next song. For any even younger viewers, a CD was like a Spotify playlist of around a dozen songs on a shiny disc that you had to change for another one if you wanted to listen to a new playlist. If you're watching this in the future, a Spotify playlist was a selection of songs that you had to download onto your computer or smartphone instead of having them beamed directly into your brain. Dash kidnaps Furnell and takes him to Danforth, while the boys discover he has been making a device. Danforth explains to Dash that Furnell is the smartest man on the planet, but invented a device that could make dumb people smart and smart people dumb, seemingly having used it on himself. Meanwhile, the boys test out the device and manage to put Furnell's brain in Simon's body. They find Furnell's body and begin putting things right, putting Furnell's brain back, but Dash steals the tape with Simon's brain on it. Furnell then reveals that Danforth is actually his wife, who sold the technology to an evil cabal who used it to give Ronald Reagan MacGyver levels of intelligence, quadrupling his IQ. Danforth shows up, pays Dash off, and he leaves, but once he's gone, Furnell sabotages the machine, swapping all of their brains around. Dash has a change of heart, and eventually Furnell is able to put everyone back to who they were, reconciling with Danforth.
Well, I just did like you said. I asked myself what if that was me that needed help. I must be coming down with something.
As I mentioned, this episode is overtly political, with its jokes about liberals, Democrats, and specifically Ronald Reagan, George Bush, and Dan Quayle of the Republicans, and honestly, this episode would probably not be made today without causing much more of a fuss. And yet it isn't as political as other episodes who indirectly criticise certain aspects of American life. It merely suggests that a lot of politicians in this era were idiots, which at that time is kind of what they were known for. It feels as harmless today as it probably did at the time. but I think would have benefited from being more subtle. Hinting at the nefarious use of Fernell's machine would have allowed for a lot more freedom in the satire, and would have been more akin to some of the earlier political subtext we've seen. There's still plenty of fun to be had here, but it doesn't quite pack the same punch as those other episodes, and isn't as enjoyable as some of the more silly episodes. For me, it's probably a 4 out of 5. Thank you. Goodbye.